dangerous behaviors and things like that. I was a virgin until the night I was married, which may have to do a lot with my looks, but beyond that, there were decisions made, right? Like, I've tried to live a very clean, good life. And so when I was running for judge, I thought, what can people say about me, Because people warned me, oh, be careful. People, they'll say things about you. And I'm like, well, what have I done that would cause them to say these horrible things? Well, what I didn't account for was that people could lie and make things up. And so, was it easy to become like judge, for example? No, not one bit, because I kept hearing that there were negative things being said about me. And how do I even get that out that it's not true? How do you protect yourself or defend yourself? It's very difficult. And like, I heard things like I was racist, for example, and I'm like, where in the world did that come from? What have I done that would make you think that I'm racist? And so one could say, well, as a policeman, you arrested a lot of minorities. Well, we live in a town that's 70% Hispanic. So if you look at locals, probably more often than not, they're going to be Hispanic. Does that make me racist? I don't think so. But that was like the worst year of my life, honestly, running for public office. And so because of that, I think that everyone in their life should run for public office once, because it builds character and it gives you some empathy for others.
I'll be the next city council.
There you go. Run for city council. Yeah, just don't run for judge.
Okay.
I will not be happy if you run for judge. No.
So what helped you overcome these challenges?
Well, my wife was a big support. So, for example, I used to look at a local newspaper that would just trash me. And literally, I would be awake till 1, 2, 3 in the morning, just so befuddled and mad about what was being written about me. And my wife would always be the one to say, we love you. We know that that's not true. We know who you are. And so do people. So don't listen to all this static. My wife is always, if you can't tell, I really like my wife. She has been a great support to me. So she's probably the biggest influence as far as helping me get over these struggles. And then, not to wax too religious or anything, but I have had to pray for patience and to be forgiving and believe me, I've had bad thoughts. Like, I would love to go hurt somebody for some of the things they've said about me. So I guess it may sound cheesy or cliche, but my family and God, I think, have helped me to step off the ledge. Maybe, don't jump.
Nice. Is it worth challenging yourself? Is it worth taking the risk of challenging yourself?
Well, like I said before, you only get one rodeo. So even if I had run for judge and I lost, I still think it would have been worth it, because now I have another experience under my belt, and it's just another life experience. So when someone comes to me and says, I was a judge, or I did this, or I did that, it's cool to be able to say, yeah, I ran for judge once too, and I lost, but I ran and I had some neat experiences. I got to meet some new people. So I think even if you set the bar high and you don't quite reach it, it's okay. You still gained a lot of neat experience. So why not try?
So what are the rewards of taking the risk of achieving your dreams, of going for your dreams? What is the reward?
What is the reward? Well, I think there's some satisfaction in setting a goal and just achieving it. Just that in and of itself it brings great pleasure, right? And I was talking about, running for judge and winning. I'll tell you, I'm up for election again next year in 2018. And even if I lose, I'll tell you, one of the greatest nights of my life I spent with my family and my friend who also won judge in Elko. He's one of my good friends. Huh?
Andrew?
No, it was Mason Simons. was the juvenile judge though before Andrew.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was my judge.
Yeah. And we met over at the Red Lion Casino. They had a election night, you know, festivities, and you know, it wasn't just for us. It was for like people from from people voting for president to local like state leaders to county leaders to you know, even judge, right, in Little West Wendover. And that night when they announced that I had won, it was like the best experience ever. It was great.
Did you feel like on top of the mountain?
I did. I felt like I had reached the top of that mountain. It was exciting.
Nice.
And I'll always have that. So even if I lose the next one, I can look back and say, man, that was a great night.
What are the things you sacrificed during your journey? Like it says that it is true that if you go for your career, you sacrifice your family. You only can go for one or for another.
Well, I disagree with that. I think if you balance things, you can do both. You should never do one or the other. I think life is all about balance. So I didn't sacrifice my family, because if I were to lose my family and then hit my goal of being the judge, it was all for nothing. Because without my family, I've got nothing. So, balance.
What else? Like, what did you sacrifice? Well, there is people that can have fun while you was trying to achieve your dreams, and there is people that say, why you need this, why you need to go for these courses, why you need to invest, why you need to save money. Just live life now, because tomorrow you're not gonna die.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the pitches that so my wife and I, we are not on the same page when it comes to saving for retirement 100%. I am one extreme and she's like middle of the road. So I mean, she understands we need to save for our retirement, but I'm like, we need to save every stinking penny. And so her attitude is, you know, you're gonna feel really bad if at 50 years old you die of a heart attack, and we could have been going on vacations and doing all these fun things, but no, we can't spend the money because we're saving it for retirement. So my counter to that would be, okay, but what happens if we live to be 105 years old? And then you'll never say, oh man, well, let me ask you, have you ever heard of an old person say, man, I sure wish I hadn't saved all that money? Have you ever heard that?
No.
I've never heard it either. So I think, again, it's about balance. You know, my kids, they're not going to school with, you know, broken down shoes, without shoelaces and ripped up clothes. You know, we provide all of the needs and then some wants. But I think a lot of people go way overboard on the wants. They give their kid everything they want, and then they wonder why their kid's a brat too. So, you know, we do a good job of providing them the basics, the needs, and then we also give them some wants. And I think that's I have great kids too. My teenager, she watches this. She gives me some grief, but that's because she's a teenager and she can't help it.
So, what is your next question? What is your message, advice for the people that are on the path of their success journey?
Well, I guess if this is the last question, I would say this: set the bar very, very high for yourself, and work like crazy to achieve that goal. You know, if the sun is your goal and you hit the moon, you'd be much better off than if you'd set your goal for the moon and you reach the stars. So why not set it as high as possible? And if you fall a little bit short, I mean, don't give yourself an out or an excuse like, well, I'm never going to make it, but, you know, no, go 100 miles an hour at your goal, and if you fall a little bit short, you're still going to be happy. And have balance in your life. Don't become obsessed with anything. You should never have an addiction or an obsession with anything. It can't be work, it can't be your family. Because if you obsess about your family and you neglect work, you'll soon be out of a job. You know, I mean, it's got to be balance in everything. And I need to learn better balance between good foods and bad foods. So that's my next goal. Speaking of which, we should stop at McDonald's.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and this
fun.
opportunity.